Today I'm recording episode 60 and I'm going to release it later today, I think. But it's almost a week late. So there are a couple of reasons for that, I think, but all those reasons are probably due to the fact that I had chosen the topic for today and then I realized I think it actually freaked me out. So the topic is self-awareness, and I'm usually not very aware of my subconscious feelings. And so I realize I've been reacting to this topic all week, actually, because the idea of becoming aware of who I am or who I am becoming or who I was is actually terrifying to me. So, and that's why I'm laughing. I'm actually scared about it. So I thought, I woke up this morning and was just ready to do this. And it is just going to be what it is. And I'm going to start off here because when I was realizing that I was in pure avoidance panic over doing this, I binge watched Real Housewives of New Jersey season, whatever the last season was, 15, 13. I don't know. I don't watch it regularly not anymore, because I'm a complete reality show junkie and I canceled my TV, my regular television for that and just got onto Netflix so that I wouldn't be tempted. But now I've discovered that actually you can watch these shows streaming, which is worse because then you can binge watch a whole season. And one of the things that I think I take from reality TV or a show like that is when we see people behaving in certain ways and it just feels so obvious. Sometimes it's the right thing to do, but sometimes it's just, you see where people are heading off in the wrong direction and they don't realize it. They can't see it. And I'm thinking, for example, if anyone follows that show, Teresa and Melissa are sisters-in-law, and they've had a difficult relationship as long as they've known each other, I think, pretty much. But in this season, they just lose it. And during the show, the host, Andy Cohen, is trying to manage conversations between them, but they just are yelling at each other for hours. And everybody else on the couch, you can see the couches sitting beside them are just looking at them like, oh dear, you can't get anywhere because you're not listening and you're angry and you can see it in everybody else's faces. I'm feeling that as I'm watching, but they can't. They're so caught up in what's going on and what's happened, and they're not able to let it go and just see clearly what's happening in that moment as far as their own behaviors. So that's sort of one way of thinking about self-awareness is just when we see examples of others who don't seem to be realizing that how they're behaving in the moment isn't serving them. And then I want to move to a quote that I read when I woke up this morning. And this is another foible of mine. I pick up the phone and check it straight away, which I think it's said to not be the greatest thing to do, but I look at my phone before I go to bed. I look at my phone when I wake up in the morning. So she wrote to me a quote that she heard in an interview from the night before with Robert Edward Grant and Richard Rudd. And it says, "I am what I have been looking for." And probably because I was still in pure sleep brain mode, I hadn't woken up at all, I just had an immediate instinctual reaction to that quote. And I wrote her back straight away. And I said, actually, I would amend that to, I am becoming what I am looking for. And the verb tense obviously was important. So to me, that's about being in process. It can be about multiple senses of self, or they're over time, or even in the same moment. There being different versions of ourselves that come out that we display or reveal at different times. And that there's no sense of what I have been looking for, because even what I am looking for will change over time. So it's really that sense of ongoing development, impermanence. I'm going to have a little philosophy moment and just say, Heraclitus, you can't step into the same river twice, that guy. That idea that there is no one sense of self that is true, that is what I've been searching for, that I am now going to be able to fulfill as myself. But it's an ongoing process or search. And that leads me to one of the projects that I'm trying to work on, which also scares me. So it's sort of in the same category as doing this episode. So I've spent this year, I've done 2 different types of photography shoots, and I'm planning to do a third one a little later this year. And they're portraits of me. And I just kept taking opportunities to do that, not knowing why, but feeling it was somehow related, I think, to this idea of self-awareness. So the idea of what we choose to reveal, what we are revealing, whether we're choosing to or not, what we want to hold on to. So I came up with the idea, why don't I write and perform a one-person solo show about self-awareness, using these photos to somehow even metaphorically represent this idea of what we choose to display and what we choose to hide. And the show, I'm planning at the moment to call it I Am Not Sarah. So I'm going to be talking about the photo shoots and related experiences and showing these images of myself, but the title of the show is meant to just at least question, I am not Sarah, I am not these images. Maybe because you can't see who I am through those images, maybe because I'm not showing all of who I am, maybe because I'm only showing parts of who I want to be through those images. But if I'm not those images, what am I? Good question. I'm working on that. And I think this is related to this idea of revealing ourselves through our art. I think we're revealing ourselves all the time in conversations and relationships, and also through the work that we put out in the world. And I think where I get stuck, and I would love to get feedback on this, is how do we know what it is that we're revealing? Does it matter? So that idea of how other people respond or react to the work that we do. What should we take from that, if anything? I guess I get stuck on this idea of if art is a way of expressing or sharing who we are with others, then feedback seems important. Some kind of feedback that may or may not be a measure of us, may or may not reflect us. But I think feedback, I come from a mindset of the only way to know if we're on the right track, if there's a right track, the only way to know that we're evolving is to be able to measure against something. There has to be something. And if it's only my own sense of myself, then that just seems solipsistic and navel-gazing and Teresa and Melissa yelling at each other without realizing what they're doing. So that's the ongoing topic, this idea of what do we know about ourselves? What are we willing to share? What are we able to share? What do we hold on to? And if you have any thoughts, I would love to hear from you. You can message me at vulnerabilitylifeart@gmail.com. Thank you as always for listening.